This morning's guest doesn't have her own website, but she is a WWW, a worldwide woman. You'll meet her coming up next on Carolina People. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning we're at the Bridal House of Charleston at 813 Main Street in the heart of Myrtle Beach. We're focused on the International House for Duke University and its medical center, and we're visiting with its former director and I was about to say Palmetto resident, Palmetto native Carlisle, Harvard. Good morning, Carlisle. Thank you so much for coming in. Its former director. That sounds funny. Having grown up and having known you as the director of the International House, it's a little more than 2 decades.
Yeah.
Is that strange to think of?
Yeah.
That's amazing,
It was
Carlisle.
wonderful.
Yeah, that was a great. Had the International House been there a good while before you arrived?
It had. We celebrated the 40th anniversary of International House while I was there.
Is that right?
And it's a very, it's been a growing part of the university and the medical center. There were 400 international students at Duke when I started in 1986, and there were about 2,200 international students.
More than 5 times the size over that 20-year period. Wow. Now that's for the entire university, both undergrad and graduate students. Yeah, that's tremendous. What had actually prompted the International House to be formed there? And was it, had early stages, had they thought about the medical center, or was it just focused on?
It was just focused on the university part, because for the first number of years that I was there even, we dealt only with students. And but there were a growing number of visiting scholars and professors coming to do research or spend a sabbatical, and they were not always getting the help and assistance that we thought Duke should be providing, and that Duke thought should be provided. It kind of depended on which department they were coming to. And we laughed about it at International House. We said some visiting scholars were truly invited and others were merely tolerated. And so the university wanted to be a better, more hospitable. And so they asked us to take that on in the mid-90s.
Okay, sure. So you've been there already a decade when taking on that, and that obviously is a big deal.
It's a big deal.
Right, sure.
Lots of people come to do research or study, or to teach for one course or a little while. And when you arrive in a new place, for anybody, whether you're moving in the United States or moving from abroad, there's a lot to do and a lot to get used to. But when you come, particularly if you're coming from Asia or the Middle East, somewhere that the culture is very different from ours, it just makes a big difference to have somebody help you find housing, tell you how to get your children registered in school, all those little things that have to take place, open a bank account. And we provide that service. So.
Well, there's some great information on Duke's website. I was there early this morning, duke.edu, and I just clicked on International House or search for International House. There's a lot of great information on there for folks who want to learn about it, even our viewers here in the PD in southeastern North Carolina and here on the Grand Strand.
Well, you can imagine how the Internet has changed how we've done our preliminary help for students and scholars. It used to be that we would write an individual letter to each student in their home country and mail it by airmail.
Wow. And
have a carbon copy of that letter in the file. And now, of course, everything's done by email. And we refer to our website and ways that they can find out the kind of things that we do.
And those letters y'all were writing, not to cut you off, Carlisle, were those those were obviously in English, or were they ever in their native language? They were always in English.
Always in English. For a student to be coming to study at Duke, they have to pass a very strict English exam, because all the courses are going to be in English. So that is a prerequisite.
That's a very good point.
People would ask me, how many languages do you speak? And I would say, well, I do German best, English, of course, best. And I do a little German and a little Russian, but no, I have to speak within English when I'm talking to the new students. So, students would be from over 100 countries.
Oh, come on, 100 countries. More than 100 countries. They're represented at the International House. You know, as I see the I House, and there it's constantly referred to as the I House.
Yeah.
Obviously, in my mind, I had the OP, the IHOP on there.
Oh,
had
yeah.
those last two letters, thinking of the International House of Pancakes, of course.
You know, Greg, several years ago we started asking returning students to help with orientation because they knew what the students really needed.
Right.
And we named them our IHOPs, International House Orientation Peers.
Oh, yeah, good.
And so they're the IHOPs. So
I
now we
love
have
it.
graduate IHOPs and undergraduate. So we play on the International House of Pancakes.
I love
thing
it.
as
I
well.
love it. I bet they would like to know that. I
That's
wonder if
right.
they even know about that.
Well, that's true.
Yeah,
We might
they'd
could
probably
get some
like to know that.
sponsorship for
Absolutely.
some of our...
Good thinking.
Good
A nice
idea.
thing as the former director to be able to still bring some great ideas
Yeah.
back to it. You know, I saw at the website there were some frequently asked questions, and one of the leading question it looks like was, how many international students actually live at the International House,
Yeah.
Carlisle?
If you saw the house, you would know that it does not house students. It is an office. And it's actually a former faculty home.
Is that right?
Along Campus Drive, there are a number of homes that were used by faculty early in Duke's history. And now they're all offices. And it was a 4-bedroom, 2-bath house.
Yeah, I was about to say, these faculty
Yeah,
were well treated.
yeah,
Yeah.
But it's small now for what we're trying to do, and our hope is that some changes will be made so that International House could have more space.
Now, is this funded entirely by Duke, or are there
It
private
is funded-
donations
no,
ever?
It's funded entirely by Duke.
Okay.
The International House is always glad to receive donations,
Good,
and sometimes
yes.
people do make donations that we use for extra programming.
Great.
So,
Good.
but we don't count on donations. Yeah.
That's very important. And if a viewer was interested, since this is more or less one of a kind, I don't know if more schools around, obviously was an early leader of that, have more schools, more universities around the country taken on an international house of the
International
sort?
education is a growth industry these days. You can imagine with the world shrinking in size and business being such an international
Oh yeah,
factor.
very right. And the internet, as you talked about.
And
yeah.
international, so it's growing everywhere. Every school will offer the visa services. The visa service is what you have to come and study as a student or to work as a professor.
Right.
And that's very, very important. International House does not do the visa service. Duke has 2 separate offices. And we do all the extra things. Listen to me, we do.
Yeah.
International
For 21
House
years,
does.
that's right. You've done. But we didn't highlight that for viewers. You just stepped away
I
just
did.
2.5 months ago.
1st of
as
October.
the executive director. So literally 70 or so days ago from here, January 10th. That's amazing.
So a lot of schools don't have the staff to do the kind of extra services and programming that International House is able to do, since
Right.
Duke has the 2 separate offices.
Yes.
But we who worked at International House, everyone there thoroughly enjoys getting to know about other cultures and
I bet.
people from other places, and that is what makes the work so much fun.
100+ countries. That's
That's
a lot of
to
cultures to
learn. That's
learn
right.
there.
That's right.
Carlisle, we wonder how we can pack it all in our minds. Folks that have to be in a setting like that or want to be in a setting like that.
Well, just the interest in somebody's home country
Right.
is enough to put them at ease and to help them realize, hey, I've got a friend here. I don't need to be as stressed as I have been about all the changes that I'm experiencing.
And visiting the website, I saw it's not just you, it's a friend of all ages. You've got a multitude of folks there, both on a volunteer side
That's
as well
right.
as folks who actually work there.
Only 6 staff members, so we
Is that right?
we stay pretty
Okay.
busy,
Yes,
and we
yeah.
work as a team on most things that we tackle, and people enjoy working there.
How exciting, Carlisle. I had opened up and started to stutter there as your ties to the Palmetto State. You're a Palmetto State native, albeit having been in the Tar Heel State for a good while now.
Born and bred in Columbia, South Carolina.
Right, yes. Did you say you were one of 6, Carlisle?
I am.
Wow, where are you in that pecking order?
I was number 3.
Right. If there had been 7, you'd be the middle child, but you're kind of in the middle. You're one of 2 in the middle.
2 of us in the middle there.
Right.
And spread over 22 years. So
Oh, come on.
my mom and dad
Wow.
had 6 children over a 22-year period. So
That's
I had
amazing.
two siblings in college when the baby was born.
Wow, Carlisle. That's amazing.
And two of my sisters actually live in this area.
Oh, really? Good. What part?
The baby, Lee Piepenbring, is living at Debbie Doo. And Madeline Ritchie and her husband live at Litchfield Beach.
Is that right? And of course, I think you mentioned you all have had a family affair down here annually for about as long as you can remember. Yeah.
My father died fairly young. He was only 58. And my mother decided she was not a shopper.
Right.
And the family enjoyed being together. So instead of doing birthday and Christmas presents for those years, she rented a house at Pawleys Island and then at Litchfield for everybody to come for 2 weeks.
Wow, very nice.
And we're
for
still
everyone.
doing that.
All six and their siblings and
at that
loved ones.
time, it was 6 with spouses, and it's grown to be 6 with children and grandchildren.
So this is a big old house then,
well,
or couple of.
We're now having to rent more than one house.
Yeah,
but we're still doing that, and it is a wonderful experience.
How exciting, Carlisle. So 2 of your sisters are in right here on the Strand, the extended Strand. You're in the Triangle. Are the other 3 all living?
No, my oldest brother is no longer living, but his widow lives down near Beaufort, South Carolina.
Good. Yeah.
And she still is very involved with our family, and we cherish her. And then I have a brother who's living in Columbia, an attorney there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, there's one more.
And a brother
in
Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay, I was about to say, so someone left the States, left the Carolinas. Yeah.
He's with Emory Medical Center.
Is that right? Good, yes. Now, you spent some time in Atlanta. I think I saw you were down there. Was there a time where maybe you were even before I saw in '81 you joined the hospice in North Carolina, but before that, were you the bookstore manager at...
I was at Columbia Seminary.
At Columbia Seminary.
That's right.
Do you mind me asking, is that where you and Joe met?
Actually, Joe and I met at Drill High School when his family moved to Columbia. And he was coming to the high school playing basketball there. And,
yes.
We actually became high school sweethearts.
Oh, come on.
Married after we both finished college. My father had
So you dated during the end of high school and then through college entirely? Was there ever a break during college? Not that you know.
Not
no,
really.
I'm kidding. Yeah. Not that you know. No, I'm kidding. Wow. And of course, your husband will be with us tomorrow. We're so excited you all are here at the beach, and obviously my mom's here.
That's
Came in town last night. She's at home right now, I'm sure, watching the interview, and she'll be with us tonight at the Republican presidential debates, which are right down the street at the Myrtle Beach Convention Center, which will be tonight on Fox News Channel.
An exciting time for Myrtle Beach and South Carolina.
Yes, it is. It's great for the entire state and for the Carolinas, it being the first in the South primary.
Right.
So we're just excited you all are down here relaxing. As we think about that time there in Atlanta or being there at Columbia, is it Columbia Theological Seminary? Okay, great.
That's where Joe studied for the ministry. So that was our second time in Decatur. We were married in August, and he started seminary in September. And I actually taught school during that period of our life.
Is that right? Yeah.
So math teacher.
Oh, I was about to say, were you an international teacher?
No,
you were teaching math. And that was your major there at, is it Converse College? There in Spartanburg. So you've got deep roots in the Carolinas, Carlisle.
Right.